The Associated Press just dropped this news release. The plot to attack Taylor Swift's Vienna shows was intended to unalive thousands. This is a statement from a CIA official. This is why we're in election season. It's a lot of vitriol. The climate is very explosive. So obviously, big targets have to watch their back. So this says the suspects in a foiled plot to attack Taylor Swift's concert in Vienna earlier this month sought to unalive tens of thousands of fans before the CIA discovered intelligence that disrupted the planning and led to arrests, the agency's deputy director said. The CIA notified Austrian authorities of the scheme, which allegedly included links to the Islamic State group. The intelligence and subsequent arrests ultimately led to the cancellation of 3 sold-out Eras Tour shows, devastating fans who traveled across the globe to see Swift in concert. CIA Deputy Director David Cohen addressed the failed plot during the annual Intelligence and National Security Summit held this week in Maryland. They were planning to unalive a huge number, tens of thousands of people at this concert, including, I am sure, many Americans, and they were quite advanced in this, Cohen said. The Austrians were able to make those arrests because the agency and our partners in the intelligence community provided them information about what this ISIS-connected group was planning to do. Austrian officials said the main suspect, a 19-year-old Austrian man, was inspired by the Islamic State group. He allegedly planned to attack outside the stadium, where upward of 30,000 fans were expected to gather with pokers. You know, this censoring is ridiculous. So with pokers or homemade explosives, another 65,000 fans were likely to be inside the venue. Investigators discovered chemical substances and technical devices during a raid of the suspect's home. Austria's Interior Minister Gerhard Karner previously said help from other intelligence agencies was needed because Austrian investigators, unlike some foreign services, can't legally monitor text messages. The 19-year-old's lawyer has said the allegations were overreacting at its best. Okay, and contended Austrian authorities were presenting this exaggeratedly in order to get new surveillance powers. Swift broke her silence about the cancellation last week after her London shows had concluded. So I'm just going to take her statement directly off of her Instagram page. It says, "We have officially wrapped the European leg of the Eras Tour. With it came the most passionate crowds I've ever played for, new traditions in the show, and an entirely new era added in. It was a more hectic pace than we'd done before, and I'm so proud of my crew and fellow performers for being able to physically perform that show and build our massive stage, take it apart, and make magic with so few days in between for recovery and travel. They're the most impressive people I know, and I'm so lucky they gave the Eras Tour their time, their energy, and their expertise. Walking onto stage in London was a roller coaster of emotions. Having our Vienna shows canceled was devastating. The reason for the cancellations filled me with a new sense of fear and a tremendous amount of guilt because so many people had planned on coming to those shows. But I was so grateful to the authorities because thanks to them, we were grieving concerts and not lives. I was hardened by the love and unity I saw in the fans who banded together. I decided that all of my energy had to go toward helping to protect the nearly 500,000 people I had coming to see the shows in London. My team and I worked hand in hand with stadium staff and British authorities every day in pursuit of that goal, and I want to thank them for everything they did for us. Let me be very clear. I'm not going to speak about something publicly if I think doing so might provoke those who would want to harm the fans who come to my show. In cases like this one, silence is actually showing restraint and waiting to express yourself at a time when it's right to. My priority was finishing our European tour safely, and it is with great relief that I can say we did that. And then London felt like a beautiful dream sequence. All 5 crowds at Wembley Stadium were bursting with passion, joy, and exuberance. The energy in that stadium was like the most big giant bear hug from 92,000 people each night, and it brought me back to a place of carefree carefree, calm up there. And she is right. I know that it sucks that people would spend hundreds of dollars. They would book plane tickets and hotels and everything. But the important thing is that people are safe and alive, because we have seen in America what these mass pew pews have done, what these big targets have done. We've seen it globally when these terrorist groups want to take out people. We've seen it, and we've seen these types of things happen. So I'm glad that they put the lives at the forefront versus the shows. So we know that there has already been things happening around Taylor Swift. We saw what happened out in the UK, where three little girls were unalived by a 17-year-old, now 18-year-old, and that caused riots in the UK. And you never know how these things will go, where it just pops off and folks don't know what happens, and then it causes a riot or whatever. So I'm glad that they took precaution. Now, I do have a little birdie that has dropped some information that there might also be another story coming out about Taylor Swift shows being targeted. Maybe this is allegedly, the story hasn't dropped, but the FBI might be looking at someone here domestically. And if I get more information about that, I'm going to drop it. I'm just waiting on her to shoot me that text message. So be aware, stay tuned for that. There might be some domestic news coming. And like I said, this one was out of Austria, was out of Vienna, those shows, but there might be something that was happening here. All right, join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.